Well, for the last, to answer your question directly and then expound upon it, the data that I'm getting back to me is that this virus is replicating to a very high level in humans. The Zaire strain of Ebola that's part of the present outbreak. Also, this is an RNA virus, and these are notoriously susceptible to mutation. With respect to the aerosol transmission, we've known for 4 years now that both Ebola and its relative, the Marburg virus, can survive in an aerosol in the dark to detectable levels for at least 1.5 hours. That is, if it's not in direct sunlight. Aerosols are generated by a variety of things: coughing, sneezing, invasive medical procedures, vomiting, diarrhea, flushing a toilet, a lot of common laboratory equipment that's used in a medical laboratory. These are capable of producing aerosol droplets in different size ranges. In traditional outbreaks of Ebola in Africa, airborne transmission has not been an overwhelming feature. It's been person-to-person contact or contact with contaminated fluids. When we're in the United States and an ambulance crew is trying to transport a patient with an unknown fever to a hospital, it's very common to generate aerosols and vomit and this type of thing. And my concern is patients that don't realize they have this disease, or EMS responders that don't realize they have this, and then secondary transmission to the healthcare workers.
Well, Dr. Stephen Hatfield is our guest, one of the top bioweapons experts out there, and he's advising African countries on what's going on. We see some UN models saying 1.4 million by January that could contract it. I know you've called for stricter controls. I follow the news, but I'm not an expert like you, but I do interview the experts, Doctor. Previously, they would put people on ships or make them get out of the hot zone in Africa for 21 days before they brought them in. They wouldn't stick Ebola patients, like you said, with level 4 inside hospitals, level 2 or 3. Why are they not doing the default things they did previously, A? B, why are they lying to people and saying there's no threat, it'll spread over here? Or am I wrong about that? What do you think, pulling back from this as a scientist, just as an American citizen, as a family man, things don't seem right here? What's really going on?
I don't know. It seems politics are driving things. Now, this epidemic in Africa is, I don't think we're going to see these catastrophic predictions over there.
Good.
We have a very good infrastructure here. I mean, you can't imagine the conditions in Africa in some places. So the ability to control this thing here, I think, is very, very good. This isn't the one to panic about. But it does portray some disturbing questions. We've spent $120 billion on biological defense and emerging diseases over the last 2 decades. And we can't seem to handle one case of Ebola. Flu is probably our really biggest worry, an avian hybrid flu. And for this, the United States spent some $47 million in supplemental funding to the Department of Health and Human Services. In a recent GAO investigation, it's essentially this money was wasted. DHS spent about $9.5 million on protective equipment since 2006, $6.7 for antiviral drugs, which, by the way, don't work. And our stockpile of Tamiflu and the other drug is expired. There's been no controls to monitor. There was no rationality to this purchasing. They bought about 5,000 bottles of hand sanitizer. 84% of this is expired.
So basically a giant boondoggle.
Yeah, essentially.
Stay there. Dr. Stephen Hatfield is our guest, MD, one of the top bioweapons experts out there. When I come back, I want to ask him then if he talks about an airborne avian flu that's airborne to humans, that being the big threat. What are the big threats? Mousepox. He talks about all these new emerging diseases. Let's discuss that, because what this shows us is when something really bad shows up, they're just going to leave the borders wide open. And why?
This winter, next to water and food, you need a safe, storable fuel supply for your preparedness needs. Spare fuel is the answer. Unlike gasoline, spare fuel can be safely stored with your other supplies for many years and works in any gas-powered vehicle or backup generator. With the bitterly cold temperatures predicted for this winter, now is the best time to stock up on spare fuel. So go to GetSpareFuel.com. That's GetSpareFuel.com. GetSpareFuel.com.
In today's unstable environment, self-protection is critical. Civil unrest, riots, looting, it's happening now, right here in the United States, and your rights are at risk. If passed, H.R. 5344 would ban Level 3 and above body armor. Kady Armor is standing up for you. We offer the most affordable Level 3 body armor on the market. Kady Level 3 armor withstands pistol and rifle hits up to 7.62 NATO. Get yours at KadyArmor.com. That's CATI Armor.com. Kady Armor. Come and take it.
On September 30th, 2014, the first confirmed case of Ebola appeared in the U.S. This, combined with several other unidentified viruses, have some of our customers at 30dayfoodsupply.com concerned about the safety of our domestic food supply, resulting in a surge of our $99 90-serving kits. While we at 30dayfoodsupply.com have no expertise in epidemiology, we are aggressively purchasing raw materials that are currently in stock, and we intend to continue to sell our 30-day non-GMO emergency food supply for only $99 as long as we can. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying directly from the producers in Oregon and then pass the savings on to you. Call 541-229-0010 and purchase our 30-day, 90-day serving emergency food supplies for only $99, and $10 ships your entire order to the lower 48. Visit our website at 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 541-229-0010. 541-229-0010.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his two-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
Don't worry. This show is documented. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
I fell into a burning ring.
That's right, don't worry. We start claiming something or talking about something, we give you the source about 99% of the time. Or if we're speculating, we'll tell you. We're just speculating. You can make the decision yourself, just like we're doing, off what you think's going on. Dr. Stephen Hatfield is our guest, medical doctor, one of the top bioweapons experts out there on record. And you can read big articles with his analysis in the Atlantic Monthly, you name it, just by Googling his name or going to ddponline.org, Doctors for Disaster Preparedness. And he joins us right now. We'll be taking some of your calls coming up for him at 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231, coming up in the next segment. Doc, this is a short segment, so getting right back into it. I see them publish the design of mousepox that they say is super deadly, worse than Ebola, correct me if I'm wrong, or universities openly working at BioShield to create new airborne avian flu, claiming they want to know how to treat it. But, again, I'm no rocket scientist or virologist like you, but it seems if you've got level 4 stuff going on in Galveston, where it gets hit by a hurricane, and things seem so flimsy now, it's only a matter of time till the BioShield system ends up releasing some nightmare pathogen. Or do you think it's going to come out of the jungles of somewhere? You talk about all these emerging things. What is the big threat? What keeps you awake at night?
Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Look, these labs, I mean, you've got C.J. Peters down there, and he is probably one of the world's experts on Ebola. He was at CDC Special Pathogens for years, USAMRIID, extremely, extremely knowledgeable scientist and physician, just a wonderful guy. And this stuff isn't getting out of a lab.
Okay, so you're not worried about that. What are you?
No.
So you're worried about the jungle?
I'm worried about the jungle. And right now, there's about 5 different things going on with emerging diseases. We have this enterovirus that's sickening the children in the Midwest. We have monkeypox outbreaks in the Kasai Oriental province. This has been going on for years. We have an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We have the MERS virus in the Mideast. This is a severe respiratory system virus, semi-related to the SARS virus that broke out in China and Hong Kong. We have the chikungunya virus outbreak, and it's almost epidemic in Puerto Rico. We've had, I think, 1 primary case in Florida and 1 secondary mosquito-transmitted cases in Florida. So these things are just, as our species numbers increase, we have more contact with disrupted, fragmented environments, and most of these diseases are jumping from animals into humans. A number of years ago, in the mid-90s, we almost lost all the lions in the Serengeti in Africa. Distemper, a type of measles virus, jumped from the local wild dogs into the lion population and decimated them. So this is a continuing, growing threat of emerging infectious diseases, and scientists have been worried about this for 30 years.
So as humans move into these zoological areas, what's causing the viruses and things to jump over into other animals and humans? Is it just the proximity?
The proximity and the fact that the majority of these are RNA viruses. RNA is a type of genetic information that a virus carries. The other type is the DNA, which a lot of people are familiar with. But in an RNA virus, every time the virus replicates, it tends to make a mistake in its genetic copy. So you have, let's say, HIV, a retrovirus, something a bit different, but you may find up to 27 different strains of HIV in one patient.
Wow.
So it's Mother Nature's way. And as these viruses mutate, many become non-infectious. Many lose their capability for viability. Some acquire perhaps new traits. The Ebola arrestin virus is completely non-pathogenic for humans. You can inject this into yourself and you won't even run a temperature. It does nothing. But it's very, very aerosol transmitted. Now, if you're a pig, it makes you sick. A lot of these are very species specific. And then the pig transmits the arrested Ebola virus to humans, and again, nothing happens. So sometimes there's an amplifying host in the middle.
Let me ask you a question when we come back, long segment coming up. Is it possible when it goes through a buffer like a pig would you then get some immunity to other Ebola viruses from the Reston variety? And we'll ask, is that the one that got out in the lab in 1989? We'll be back. Stay with us.